everybody, Wannabe Reviewer here, and welcome back to the Wannabe Podcast, episode 55. Before we begin this week's podcast, I just want to say that I don't know how many of you have been listening for a while, but if you remember, quite a few months back, I talked about how my other PC just died one day. It basically just fried out. And since then, I've been using like a work laptop to basically do, all of my videos and stuff. But yeah, I was able to get my hands on a new PC, and it does have its cons, which I'll kind of talk about in a little bit. But on the plus side, it was a really good deal. Got it for like under $300, and it has really good graphics and everything. Like, I tested it out. I'm able to emulate Wii games, PS2 games, stuff like that. So I'm quite proud of it, like in that sense, where it's a nice little computer that can run some games and stuff. So I'm happy with that. Oh, and I'm also able to record my Elgato. I'm able to record footage off of systems onto this new computer. I was able to figure that out. The problem was actually the cables I was using. And so I'm able to record, 1080p, 60 frames per second. So graphics-wise, all that stuff is awesome. But as I was saying, the negative is that for whatever reason, I tried recording audio and it is not working. It keeps saying that the processor is being like the power from the processor is being used for a different function. And whenever I try to record audio, it keeps just like cutting in and out for some reason. So I am trying to figure that out. And, in the meantime, right now I'm recording audio on my laptop. But hopefully I figure that, issue out. And besides that, I am quite happy with my new PC. Because like I said, it's able to run all sorts of games. And I'm able to emulate Wii games and PS2 games and stuff. So that gets me excited. I think that opens the potential for finally, streaming sometime in the near future. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I just want to throw that out there that, I got a new PC. And so I'm quite happy with that. So just thought I'd share that, But with that out of the way, diving into my week. As usual, I would like to start with anime, and I'll admit, nothing new. I do have like one or two new anime that I'm hoping to check out by next podcast episode. But when it comes to this week, basically just watch what I've been watching. Thought I would give, another opinion on each of the shows that I mentioned last week. And then, I'll just, put that to the side until they finish at the end of the season. But to give, a further opinion on Psycho-Pass 3, for instance, I watched the third episode and I continue to like it. I think that continues to be very mysterious, continues to be interesting. Basically in the episode, we had more things involving our detectives trying to figure out what's happening in this world, trying to figure out who's committing crimes and stuff. We learned some interesting things about our two main characters. The guy who's more straight-laced and just more quiet or whatever, he actually kind of had an outburst and he got himself kicked off the force, temporarily. So it's kind of interesting to see that, where because he's a foreigner, people are always giving him crap. It was interesting to see him kind of, lose his cool. That was kind of interesting. And leading into that, after him getting kicked off the force for a bit or whatever, like being suspended, and only the like crazy kind of aloof partner being the one doing all the work or whatever, the rest of the Psycho-Pass, team or whatever, the other detectives, they started researching our two main characters, and they discovered that they have a very interesting link. That I don't think I'll spoil it, because it is interesting when you see like their connection to each other. But it's a very interesting link because they seem to trust each other like 100%. They treat each other almost like best friends and confidants and stuff. But then when you kind of like discover the weird connection they have to each other, it is weird. It is weird that they choose to work together. So I thought that was really interesting. So Psycho-Pass 3, I continue to recommend it. I think it continues to be very interesting. The world building's pretty interesting. The characters, I like them. I like their interactions. I like learning more about this sci-fi world and seeing them investigate the crimes and stuff. The powers of the main character, where he's able to basically like tap into this, this power where he can see the crimes happening and he kind of like become the person, so to speak. It's interesting. I think it's an interesting power the way they've used it so far. And yeah, definitely. I've enjoyed the show so far. I think it's interesting. I recommend it if you're like a big sci-fi person, that sort of thing. And yeah, like I said, I'll talk about it once it ends, at the end of the season or whatever. It's only supposed to be 9 episodes, like 9 or 8, I forget. But it is supposed to be kind of short, so it will end, probably sooner than other anime. But in the meantime, I recommend it. I think it's a interesting watch. I'd say check it out. Moving on to Ascendance of a Bookworm. That's the one that was about the girl that gets isekai to a different, world. She gets reincarnated as basically this little girl. Her mission is that she wants to either find books to read, or if she can't find them because, she lives during a time where books are like really rare and only rich people can own them, then she says that she will make her own books. And I watched a couple more episodes. I think this show is up to like episode 7, I think. I watched up to episode 6, and basically, it's more interactions, more of her trying to get her book idea off the ground. In episode 5, she's messing around with clay tablets. She tries to make clay tablets. Doesn't work out too well. In episode 6, it's all about trying to make wood tablets. Once again, doesn't go too well either, but just seeing her try to do the stuff is interesting, and seeing her interacting with the other characters is interesting. Seeing more about the world, of course, is always fun. In episode 6, her older sister, because in this world, when kids turn 7, they have what's called like a baptism, and then from there, basically they're recognized as, I don't know if necessarily adults, but at age 7, they can start an apprenticeship, so they can learn a trade, and kind of like start a career. And sure enough, we see in episode 6 that her sister is going through the baptism. She's going to start her career or whatever. And so that was really interesting, So I continue to enjoy the show. I continue to think it's really interesting, really cute. Seeing the interactions with this girl and the people around her is really nice. Seeing her determination to make books become a thing, I think it's really interesting and it's really unique. So I think this one's going to be a long one, but for now, I recommend it. I think it's really good. For people who have read the manga, they say that they also recommend it, that they are looking forward to, seeing more. It sounds like it's a good series. So yeah, I'll talk about it again once it ends, but like I said, that might be a while from now. I think it is a longer one, but I recommend this anime. I think it's really good. I think if you want to see an isekai anime, it's a little different, and you want to see something that has to do with like literature and someone trying to make their own books and survive in this other world, then I think you'll like it. So there you go. Finally, moving on to High Score Girl 2. I believe I watched episode 3, was it? I believe it was episode 3, and basically picking up where the last couple episodes left off, our main character, he basically gets into a little bit of a turf war. Basically, he feels kind of left out in his home, like turf, where he used to go to like play in the arcades. He feels he doesn't really like the people there. He feels kind of, outcasted. So he travels to Shibuya, and he kind of falls under the influence of the Shibuya people. He starts dressing differently, that sort of thing. He acts like more of a punk. And basically this episode was about, there's like this competition between the town he's from and between Shibuya, and they're having like a little arcade tournament or whatever, and they're trying to like see which side is better. The girl, I forget what her name is. I'm forgetting her name right now. I'm blanking out, but the blonde girl who, like I've said, she's kind of like the odd man out in like the little love triangle. She heavily has a role in this episode. She like really goes for it, and like, she confesses her feelings to him and really says like what she feels and stuff. And yeah, it just ends with her basically like really saying what she feels and, kind of like hugging the guy and all sorts of stuff. And of course, the way she's facing, she's hugging him, and all he sees is the girl that he likes. Oh no, she's watching them. And so it ends on this cliffhanger of like, oof, what's gonna happen, because not only was he like spending time with like the blonde girl, and probably Ono's gonna get the wrong idea, but the fact that she's hugging him and saying she loves him, all this stuff, it left it in an interesting position. So I continue to enjoy this anime. I've said it before, I think it's an interesting mix between like a rom-com and, tossing in a lot of like video game stuff, like a lot of arcade video games and stuff. And so I continue to enjoy it. I continue to think that it's really good, really fun. The character interactions are fun. The way it shows games is fun. The little relationship between Ono and our main character, Haru, that continues to be really interesting and continues to be really sweet. Like, you're definitely rooting for the two of them to just get together, And the blonde girl, even though I can't remember her name, she is an interesting and compelling character, Even though she is like the odd man out, you do feel for her. Like, you don't just like hate her because she's messing with the love triangle. Like, you do like feel for her. So that makes it interesting, So I continue to recommend the anime. I think it's really interesting. I think it's really fun. It is a little hard to get your hands on, but if you can find High Score Girl now in its second season, I recommend it. I say check it out. Alrighty, moving on. Something that I watched this week that it caught me by surprise. I honestly forgot that it debuted, which is funny because I talked about it like in a news story not that long ago. But Rick and Morty season 4 finally had its premiere. And I watched the first episode, and sure enough, it just feels like Rick and Morty. Even though it doesn't really set up anything for the season or really does anything lore-wise, you know, because there are some episodes of Rick and Morty, they feel like they're building up to like a story arc, or they feel like they're kind of building on some lore that kind of makes you go like, wait a minute, and you're like, what's happening over there? It was a very normal episode. Like I said, doesn't really like build to anything, but it was still just a fun episode, you know? Basically in the episode, Rick and Morty, they go to this planet and they're mining these crystals that can show you your death. And while they're there, Rick accidentally basically almost dies, and Morty has to use like this device to like, you know, kind of revive him, like a cloning sort of thing. However, when he gets one of the crystals, he sees like this future, he sees like a potential future death. And he's like in love with the idea because it's him dying old, surrounded by like this girl that he has a crush on. And he kind of wants that death to like happen. He wants to die old with like the girl he likes, but he kind of sees that if he sticks with Rick, then that's not going to happen. Like there's a bunch of other deaths that can occur. And so basically the episode is all about Morty being a dumbass and doing all sorts of things to try to lead to that future that he thinks will lead to him, you know, dying old with the girl he likes. And meanwhile, Rick, because Morty didn't revive him, he's just body hopping all over the place, trying to get back to his body. And I don't know. I mean, you have to watch it. It's just the regular Rick and Morty humor and stuff. And it was an interesting episode. I liked it. I thought it was a good episode. And it felt, like I said, it felt like Rick and Morty. It felt like more of the same old, same old. But I enjoyed the episode. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good season premiere. And even though I didn't really set anything up for like story arc or anything, I thought it was a fun episode. And I look forward to watching more Rick and Morty, you know? So there you go. Finally, the last thing I want to talk about, and this took a big part of my week, is that I finally got my copy of Death Stranding on like Saturday, and I basically spent a lot of time this week just playing through the game. 90% of the game, despite the crazy music videos and trailers of Norman Reedus on a beach hugging a naked baby, and he's naked, and there's all sorts of stuff with death, and Guillermo del Toro's there, and there's like Nazi soldiers connected through umbilical cords, all sorts of imagery, right? Even though the trailers are super crazy, and there's like all sorts of crazy like promotional material for this game, 90% of this game is you are a UPS man delivering packages. And if people aren't connected to like the internet, you basically hook them up with an internet connection. And yeah, it's your mission to go across the United States, delivering packages and reconnecting people in order to like bring America back from the brink of extinction, basically. Takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where the line between death and life has been blurred. You know, for whatever reason, creatures from like the other side, they're called beach things. Same as like when, you know, whales strand themselves on a beach. All of these creatures keep finding themselves stranded in the world of the living. It's like for whatever reason, you know, dead things keep coming back. And sure enough, if somebody dies, they have to cremate their body like within like, I think it's like 2 days or something. Because if not, when people die in this universe, they basically go nuclear and they explode. And, you know, they not only destroy like a lot of like whatever's around them, but they call forth more of these creatures. And so, you know, humanity is dealing with all of that. It's left the universe really destroyed, and, you know, there's craters everywhere. A lot of humanity's gone at this point. It's always raining, and there's this weird rain that when it touches you, it basically ages you up. So whenever there's like rain happening, you have to like stay away from it in order to be safe. So yeah, the world's just really messed up, and there's all this crazy lore. And like I said, you're basically this delivery man in the apocalypse, delivering packages and connecting people to the network. And the thing about it is that even though it sounds really weird, like really that's what you do, you just deliver packages, that sounds boring. Once you get into the game itself, it is really intriguing though. Because not only do you slowly unlock pieces of the story, you know, there's all these crazy cutscenes and imagery, and there's all this lore for this world. So not only is there that, you know, like in the background, but as you're delivering packages, it is really engaging. Because, you know, you pick up packages, you say where you're going to go, You pick your loadout, you pick your tools, you plan your path to get there. On your way there, you can either drive there or you can run there. You have to plan, if you're going to make stops along the way. If you see packages, you can always pick them up and take them with you, deliver them for other players. You can choose to build structures along the way. Say you're trying to get to somewhere high in the mountains and you can't reach it. Along the way, you can build ladders to help you reach your destination. Or screw it, you can just go all the way around, the long way. That way you can, just hike up there. Or let's say there's already stuff that other people built. Let's say there's someone who built, a climbing rope. You can use that to scale the mountain. So it's just interesting stuff like that, where there's just all sorts of ways to deliver your packages. There's an infinite amount of ways, That you can take your tools with you, you can drive the long way there, you can make stops along the way, you can deliver other packages. In my playthrough, for instance, I've been dedicating myself to building this huge highway. You build it a piece at a time, and it connects you from one city all the way to this other city that's down south. And yeah, as I'm building these pieces of road, it makes carrying packages back and forth super easy because I can just drive the motorcycle there. And I don't know, it's a really hard game to explain, but as you're delivering the packages and you're getting rankings for them and you're leveling up and you're unlocking different tools and movesets and stuff, it's just really intriguing and it's just really fun. So not only is the gameplay actually really interesting, and not only is the lore and the story really intriguing and stuff, but there's also this whole theme of reconnecting. The whole game is about reconnecting society, and not only do you see that in the gameplay, but yeah, as you're building, what you do affects other players, and what other players what they do affects your gameplay as well. So yeah, as you're building stuff, you start to see the landscape, you start to see it get shaped slowly. And yeah, it goes from being a total wilderness to being more technologically advanced with highways and post boxes and generators, all sorts of stuff. So seeing players work together and reconnecting the world together, and making differences and stuff, that part of the game is also really interesting. So I enjoy the game. I know it's not for everybody because it is a very, very strange game, but I don't know. If the idea of delivering packages to you sounds boring, it's probably not the game for you. But if you've seen footage of it and you're oh, that's pretty cool, you deliver packages, how does that work? I think you might enjoy it, I would say look up gameplay, see someone who really loves the game talk about how to get the most out of it, and maybe you'll enjoy it, because it's just this crazy game, super unique, super outside of the box or whatever. Kojima said he wanted to make a game that was unique and was very different, and I think he delivered on that, because sure enough, you're this postman delivering things in a post-apocalyptic world. There's this crazy story and lore happening all around you, and yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It's just a very interesting game. I've been sinking all sorts of time into it, and I think it's really fun. So there you go. Alrighty guys, and with that being said, that brings me to the end of my week. Most of my time honestly went into Death Stranding, so, I probably could have watched some of those new anime that I said, or I could have checked out some other games, but I don't know, I just played so much Death Stranding and honestly just took up a lot of my time. But yeah, hopefully for next week I should have at least 1 or 2 new anime to talk about, and Pokemon Sword and Shield is coming out very soon, so I'll probably talk about that because I will be checking that game out, so look forward to that. But yeah, with that being said, for now, that is my week. Hopefully you guys found that interesting. Hopefully, give you more insight into the anime or into Death Stranding, that sort of thing. And yeah, for now, let's just move on to the news. Speaking of which, my first news story has to do with gaming, and man, I've talked about it before, but it is just such a, I don't understand who this is for, but as the title of the article states, Stadia launch lineup announced. Now, for anyone who doesn't remember or anyone who isn't aware, Google Stadia, basically it's this service that Google is putting out, and it has to do with streaming games, I guess. But it's really weird because the way it works, November 19th is when this is supposed to launch. If you paid $130 to be a founder or whatever, that pays for a year of the service, and it comes with this wireless controller. And supposedly, according to Google, all you need to play, you need to own some sort of Google device, whether it's like, you have Chrome on your computer or you have like a Google TV or whatever. Basically, if you have that, you'll be able to sign in and you'll be able to play video games, stream to your to any device, basically. The weird thing though is that since then, they've revealed that even if you paid to be a founder for November 19th, not everyone is gonna get to play that day. Because for whatever reason, that's the day that packages are going to start to come out, but not everyone is going to get to play that day. Some people, they'll have to wait longer. Not only that, but the wireless controller isn't even wireless. It says that, at the beginning of the service or whatever, you might have to have it plugged in. That's another one. Another issue with this is that the streaming service you're paying for, it's not like a Netflix sort of thing where you're paying like a certain amount and you get to play every game available during, your membership. You're paying for the, I guess you can say you're paying for the honor of then getting to pay full price for the game. So I don't get what the point is, because you're paying so you can access the library. Yeah, you then have to pay for it in order to play. So it's just a mess. I don't understand it, but jumping down to like I said, the games that are have been announced for the launch. We have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Destiny 2, Guilt, Just Dance 2020, Kine, Mortal Kombat 11, Red Dead Redemption 2, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Samurai Showdown, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Thumper, and Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. All of the Tomb Raider games are the Definitive Edition, actually. But, yeah. So, do you see a problem with those 12 games? In case you're wondering, no, I don't get it, maybe you're not aware. 25% of those games are Tomb Raider games. And they're all old. So, yeah. And then every other game, they're also old games. All of these games are old. And not only that, only one of them, I believe Guilt, that's the only game that's exclusive. So as if this deal didn't sound like already crappy enough already, that means that you would be paying for the membership in order to access games that you've probably already played, so what's the point? It is just so weird, And yeah, it comes out November 19th. That's in a few days. And literally, they had an AMA, which means Ask Me Anything on Reddit. And literally the only people asking questions, they sounded like bots. They sound like it's people purposely planted to make this look good, because I don't think I've met one single person in real life that's interested in this, and everywhere that I've looked online, everyone seems pretty iffy about this, because it just sounds like such a bad deal. Because once again, you're paying for the privilege of then having to pay full price for these games that you don't own. Because if this service goes away, everything's digital, you don't own any of these games. So, I don't know, man. The whole thing just sounds like a dumpster fire. I don't understand how this works. I don't understand who this is for. I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see where this goes, because I think it's going to fail really badly, and I just want to be there to see it crash and burn, So, yeah, just thought I'd share that really quick. I saw this, and I just kind of shook my head. I don't know who this is for. It just sounds like a big mess. But there you go, Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll be a success. I don't know. Only time will tell. But if you're like me and you think it's going to, crash and burn, let me know in the comments below, and let's just laugh at it together, I guess. There you go. Moving on, the next one is a little short story, but I thought it was something interesting. Basically, from the creator behind Nobi Nobi Boy and Katamari Damacy comes a new game called Wattam. Scheduled to come out December 17th. It's going to come out for PlayStation 4 and PC. And yeah, it just looks like it's this very colorful game. If you've never played, for instance, Katamari Damacy is the most feel-good game ever. You're this little guy pushing a little ball, and as you run into things, the ball becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and usually your mission is to make the biggest ball you can, and as you're playing, the game has the most chill music ever. It's just a very fun, very lighthearted game, and that same creator, he's making this game. And this game basically, I don't even know how to explain it. It sounds like just really silly. It says that it has to do with like making friends and making explosions. And if you look at the gameplay, the main character is like this little cube guy with a little mustache and top hat. Yeah, I don't know. And it says that's about making explosions. And like the more colorful the explosions and stuff, the better. I don't know. And it's supposed to have like really cute music again. So it's hard to explain. I don't really know what the game is. But if it's anything like the creator's other games, then I'm just expecting a very lighthearted, colorful, with really chill music game. You know? So I just thought I'd share that. I don't know if any of you have any love for Katamari Damacy or Nobi Nobi Boy, but I love Katamari Damacy. I think it's a really fun little game. Like I said, I think it's really chill and relaxing. And knowing that this guy is making a new game, I think that's awesome, you know? So I just thought I'd share that. I would say look forward to it if you've ever played any of his other games. And once again, that is coming out December 17th. So look forward to it. Moving on, and speaking of looking forward to, I'm not gonna lie, I was looking forward to this before because I just thought it was gonna be a dumpster fire, and I wanted to see how bad of a dumpster fire it was gonna be. But now, after this new footage, which I'll talk about in a moment, I'm actually unironically looking forward to it because it looks kind of fun. Of course, what I'm talking about, I mean, as the title of the article states, new Sonic the Hedgehog movie trailer and poster reveals Sonic's redesign. And sure enough, they really turned things around. I mean, if you look at the design, like it actually looks like Sonic, you know? Like it actually looks good now. Like I think it's way better. And I don't know, I mean, well, I don't think the movie's gonna be like great. I think some of the humor is still kind of off. And I think the whole plot of him coming to like the human world and befriending people, and you know, even though I think it's not gonna be a great movie, even the trailer, like the footage they show, it just looks better, you know? Like the first trailer, you look at it, Sonic looks terrible. All of the jokes and stuff just seem really off, and all of the footage barely shows Sonic. It just focuses on the humans, which is like really lame. And of course it has a song that, even though I love it, even though I love Gangster's Paradise, it just doesn't fit the tone of Sonic. It just feels really off, right? It just feels like really try hard and like it's trying to like speak to the kids or whatever. But then the second trailer, even though I don't think the movie's gonna be like a 10 out of 10 or anything, the jokes just feel more natural. Like it feels more like actual Sonic. Like it feels playful, like in the right way. And it just focuses on Sonic doing Sonic things, you know? Like in the other one, it had a lot of him just stretching and he has his creepy man body and he's running everywhere. And here it shows him doing stuff that you think Sonic would do. Like there's a part where he's playing baseball and he's doing like 3 different positions by himself. That feels like a Sonic thing to do, honestly. I feel like in a cartoon, you would totally see him do that. You see him working out. You see him reading comic books at super speed. You see him playing ping pong by himself. You see him being like really hyper. That looks like something Sonic would do, honestly. It feels like in character with him. So I don't know. I mean, I'm actually kind of excited for this now. Even though I don't think it's going to be like a great movie by any means, I still think it's probably going to have, you know, awkward, cringy jokes, and it's going to probably rely too much on humans and like that sort of thing. I think the movie really turned things around. And I would say, you know, props to Paramount, because not only did they listen to their fans, but they listened to fans and then they did something about it. And from what I see that they've done, it looks like they really went out of their way to fix this. So that alone makes me want to support them because, you know, good for you guys. And like I said, I don't know, I'm just unironically kind of excited for the movie now. Even though I don't think it's going to be a great movie, it looks fun. It looks like they're definitely overhauling it to make it work and make it more of something for fans. So yeah, I'm gonna watch it. And I don't know, let me know what you guys think. Are you gonna watch the new Sonic movie? Do you think that they really turned things around? I mean, I sure think they did. You know, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see the movie, if you're excited for it, then just keep being excited for it, you know? Alrighty, moving on. The next couple of stories are actually also about movies coming up. I swear this week was just heavy with movie trailers for animated movies coming up, which I think is pretty cool. So the first movie that I want to talk about is that a couple of days ago, we got the trailer for the new Spongebob movie. which I had heard there was going to be a new SpongeBob movie for a while. I had heard they wanted to make a new one, and I just didn't know we were that close to it. I mean, as the title of the article states, the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, soaks its way online. And sure enough, if you read down a little farther, it says it's scheduled to come out May 22nd, 2020. It's like, that's really soon. So, I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. From the trailer, basically it seems like it's going to be, the first one, it was, if I remember, it was all traditional animation. The second one, it was traditionally animated when they were, in Bikini Bottom. And then when they came to the human world, it was 3D. This one, it's a little different because it looks like it's going to be like 3D the whole time, which that's really different. And basically what the movie is going to be about, it seems like it has to do with SpongeBob. It'll show how he met Gary, and it'll be about how one day Gary just goes missing. And so SpongeBob and his friends, they go look for him. So that's simple enough as a premise. And yeah, I mean, it looks fun, I guess. It's your typical SpongeBob thing. What I like is that I feel like the second movie felt too much like just a long episode. While the first movie felt really epic and it felt like it had high stakes and it felt like a movie, where they're going out of their way to do like something different. The second movie just felt kind of like a really long episode of SpongeBob. It just didn't really feel like the epicness or like the high stakes of it being a movie. This one, once again, it feels, just from the trailer, it feels like a movie. It feels like it's adding a lot. It feels like it's about like this grand adventure and about SpongeBob trying to get his pet snail back, and there's gonna be, some origin stuff about how he met Gary and that sort of thing. And in the trailer itself, it promises that all of the characters are supposed to like come on the adventure this time. I mean, they mostly show SpongeBob and Patrick, but like the trailer does promise we're gonna see more of like the other characters and stuff. So I don't know. I just think it sounds fun. I think if you're like a fan of SpongeBob, you'll probably like this. It seems interesting. And yeah, so like I said, it's supposed to come out May 22nd, 2020. If you're a fan of SpongeBob or whatever, then look forward to it. Alrighty, finally, as I said, we also have another trailer, and this one is for the new Scooby-Doo animated movie. And honestly, from what I saw, I liked it, there are some things that feel a bit off. Like Shaggy's voice feels a bit off, and some of the characters, like Fred, I mean, they kind of try to give him a new look without like the ascot, so he looks like a little bit off too. But from what they show of the movie, I liked it, honestly. I think it looks cool. It looks like it might be a good movie. It looks like it has to do with it's kind of like an origin story sort of thing. Even though it does show like an older Shaggy and Scooby, it looks like a big part of it is gonna be how he met Scooby and then how he met the rest of the mystery gang, because it shows a lot of footage of, Shaggy's on the beach and Shaggy named Scooby or whatever. Then it shows that he's like dressed up on Halloween and he meets the rest of like the mystery machine gang, and it shows them, going to like a haunted house and stuff. So I don't know, it looks like it's gonna be kind of like an early, this is how they got together sort of thing, and like maybe like some of the first mysteries they solved. But I don't know, from what I saw, I just thought it seems fun. I think it seems really nice seeing Scooby-Doo as a puppy and seeing like the origins and stuff. And yeah, it's supposed to come out summer 2020, May 15th, 2020. So it comes out very close to the SpongeBob movie, and I don't know, it just looks fun, It doesn't look like it's gonna be a perfect movie. Some of the stuff does seem off, like Shaggy's voice, and Fred's new design seems kind of weird, and I don't know, some of the voice actors, it does feel like they're just trying to put in, like famous voice actors instead of just sticking to like some of the previous voice actors, that part is a little like kind of disappointing. But from what they've shown, it seems, like I said, it seems fun, and it seems like it's gonna have a nice story. So there you go, check it out, and I look forward to it, I guess. Alrighty, all those movie trailers aside, this last news story, it's not exactly an anime news story, but it is a story from the land of the rising sun, and I did think it was an interesting one to share, because, I don't know, I think it's kind of tragic, So I just kind of want to talk about it, because when I ran across it, I don't know, it just really made me think that, like, damn, that sucks, As the title of the article states, Japan's arcades dropped from 26,000 to 4,000 in 32 years. So basically, it's a very short article, but if you read it, the summary basically is that with there being so many console games and smartphone games, and with multiplayer being such a big thing online, I guess arcades in Japan are kind of going away. Like it says, at its peak, there were over 26,000 arcades in 1986. And last time they counted in 2018, there was only 4,000 arcades left. And it says, if you read the article, there's like a picture of this lady playing some sort of like an arcade game. And it says that the arcade, in the picture, it's actually closing. Here it says on Sunday. So yeah, like within the week, they're closing the arcade. And I don't know, the reason I want to share this is because I think that's a really big shame. Japan used to be like the center for arcades. It used to be the place that, even if they're gone everywhere else, it seemed like Japan, like they would never go away there. And I was hoping that if I one day go to Japan, I was looking forward to going to an arcade. But the thing is that with them on the decline like so quickly, I'm really afraid that by the time I ever get to go to Japan, they're all gonna be gone. So I don't know, that's why I want to share it, because I just think it's a tragic story, I think arcades are fun. I think what they stand for of just going to this place, playing all these games, and just sometimes you compete against other people and stuff. I think that's really awesome. And the fact that we're losing that, and then, everything's turning to like mobile games or playing online, on your consoles or whatever, I think that's a shame, I think that a good old arcade, I don't know, I just wish that we would have more of them. So I just want to share that. Link in the description below. You can read about it for yourself. But yeah, I just hope that, by the time I get to go to Japan, hopefully all the arcades aren't gone. Because I definitely want to check out an arcade. I think arcades are fun. And I don't know, hopefully they have like a resurgence, Hopefully they're so retro that they're cool and they kind of start popping up again. I don't know, but there you go. Alrighty guys, and with that being said, that brings us to the end of another news week. Hopefully you guys found those news stories to be, entertaining, educational, informative, that sort of thing. And with that being said, I think we should transfer over to the last section of the podcast, which is the Content Creator Spotlight. And my content creator for this week, currently sitting at 236 subscribers, I am of course talking about a little channel called the Cinephile with a Microphone. And the Cinephile with a Microphone, even though this person has a very straightforward channel, very straightforward idea for videos, I think the way they execute them, they just do so well. And that's why I really like watching them. Basically what the Cinephile with the Microphone does, they literally do reviews on all sorts of movies, usually keep them to like around a minute, and that's it. They literally just do quick reviews that are like around a minute and they just release them. And similar to me, they kind of do a thing where they kind of just have footage on screen at all times and they kind of have like a theater theme going on too. And yeah, it's just very quick reviews. Each of them are a minute. There's like a title on screen. There's like trailer footage on screen. And there you go. But like I said though, even though this sounds very straightforward, I just think the way they execute it is really well. Like even though each review is only about a minute, I think that the Cinephile with the Microphone, their speaking is good, their reviews are very well done even though they're really compact. I feel like they get straight to the point and they tell you exactly what you want to know. And I just think that like the footage they use, they have really good footage. So simple premise, but executed, like I said, quite well. For instance, recently they reviewed Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, Terminator Dark Fate, Ready or Not, and Gemini Man. And yeah, just learn about all these movies, for the ones I haven't watched, or hearing them talk about the ones that I have watched, such as Ready or Not, just seeing them cover these movies really quickly, I think it's fun. And yeah, what else can I say? If you like movie reviews, and if you're kind of one of those people who's in a hurry, that you don't want to watch a movie review that goes on for like 20 minutes or whatever, then I recommend this channel, because they get to the point really quickly, but they still tell you what you want to know. So Cinephile with a Microphone, if you're listening to this, keep up the good work. I love your reviews. I love how short they are. I love how to the point they are. And like I said, I just like that, like your voice is really good, your visuals are really good, and just the way you cover everything that I want to know, I think that's awesome. So keep up the good work, man. I wish the very best for you. I hope that more people subscribe to you. I think you definitely deserve it. Keep up the good work. I wish the best for you. When it comes to everybody else, like I said, what else is there to say? Quick movie reviews that don't take up too much of your time. So I would say subscribe. And if you do, like, comment, subscribe, give them feedback. And if you do, let them know the Wannabe reviewer sent you. So there you go. Alrighty guys, and with that being said, that brings us to the end of another podcast. That is one more in the bag. As I said before, I'm going to try to have a review out, hopefully for this week. I'm thinking of maybe covering Death Stranding because it's a very interesting game, and I'm trying to put my thoughts down on paper. That way I can then share it with you guys. So you guys watching, if you've been wondering about the game, or even if you know nothing about the game, that way you get like a better understanding of it, because it's just such a weird title. But hopefully I'll have that up, sometime in the week. Usually I upload on Wednesdays. We'll see how that goes. And going forward, rest of the month, I think I'm also going to do more video game uploads. There was a few games that I played that I didn't really cover, so I'm going to see about hopefully covering all of those, so look forward to it. And yeah, in the meantime, my name is Wannabe Reviewer. You can catch me all over on social media, such as Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. With my new computer, hopefully I figure out some streaming, hopefully, in the near future. And yeah, with that being said, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I will try my best to be back here next week for episode 56. My name is Wannabe Reviewer. I'll see you guys next time.